What is going on? This is ShanGO Ray, aka Real Deal Ray. This is like my second time, actually second and a half time. I started, then I stopped, and I did it again, recording this video. And you know, I don't feed into the retrograde bullshit, but my phone has been having terrible signal. So I shot it live, unlisted, and it just didn't work out. I hope y'all are well. Got a lot of questions about Invocation. So I'm gonna make this really brief because I'm tired of making this fucking video. But tonight is July 27th. In 2 days, that's right, July 29th. We might even go a little earlier, like late Monday night or early, 11 o'clock Monday, my time, Pacific Standard Time. But Philomena Lubana, La Dominadora, Invocation Oil will be dropping. Okay, we wanted to drop it on her feast day. As you see, there's 36 bottles, but as you see, everything's already prepackaged again. Just need your little address there. Just need your address. That's it. Help us. Help you. Give me the address. Speaking of address, I have to say this real quick. Anytime you order something, and this is, I'm saying it from my point of view, but if you're going to order something, please make sure your PayPal address is the shipping address you want your wonderful, powerful products sent to. Okay, I've had a couple of these already where people are not. We're gonna stop. It's all that's gonna stop. There's going to be a thank you page. On that thank you page is going to make sure to remind you to update your info or make sure your info is good, because we want you to get your shit. We want you to get your goodies. But yeah, so that's going to be happening, like I said, in about a day. So we've been getting tons and tons and tons and tons, and I love y'all, each and every one of y'all, for it. Tons of messages. When is it coming out? When is it coming out? We did a little pre-sale, kind of like a limited edition version. Just, we wanted to thank those who were able and willing to claim theirs, and those sold out like that. And like I said, we've got tons of inquiries about this, and I'm absolutely positive these 36 will go like nothing. You know what I'm saying? So be sure you get yours. You know what I'm saying? It does come with an invocation ritual. All right. So when you buy, there will be a thank you page after, and on the thank you page you will see the information, and it'll have the link that you can download your invocation, your Philomena Lubana invocation ritual, so you can use that with your oils. Okay, so I've been getting a lot of questions also about how do I use the oils, and I respect it. I think it's kind of funny though at some point in time too, also because if you go buy an oil from a Botanica or online, it's just, and it could be any cord oil, money oil, love oil, they're just like, here's the oil. I don't know. There's no instructions. Just do what you do with it. I've been considering creating a ritual to go with the oils for those who want to use that. If you don't, excuse me. If you don't, I don't understand, especially some people, they like to be guided through it, and I get it, and that's cool, So that is the subject of this video, and I'm going to try and make this brief because, like I said, I done did this shit 2.5 times already, But the subject is Invocation for Dummies. In this video, you're going to learn what it is, why you want to do it, and a very simplified yet powerful way that you can do it. Whether you're working with oils, and by the way, this is the Gold Crown Luxury Success Oil. Powerful shit for those of you who want to get your wealth and abundance on. Whether you're working with oils, powders, it doesn't matter. Whether you're working with nothing, these are concepts and also some tips that you can be able to implement immediately. Okay. And, get your invocation on. So without further ado, let's just get the fuck into this. All right. Because like I said, I feel like a parrot, and I done been repeating myself. But we're going to get into this right now. So Invocation for Dummies. I also have my little notes, my bullet points. And also tips, of course, like I said, on how to use our oils, or any oils, actually. It's not just our oils. Like, these are things that you can use with anybody's shit. Anything. Okay? You can do it with a cup of coffee or your water or anything. Okay? But I digress. Okay? First of all, let's get into this real briefly. Invocation versus evocation. What is the difference? To be honest, for the sake of this conversation, it really doesn't matter. Invocation and evocation both have the same core root word, vocar, whatever, something like that. And it basically means, it's a Latin word, I believe, that means to call forth. So whether you're calling forth from within or whether you're calling forth seemingly without, you know. But invocation is basically, to simplify it, if you are working with a particular spirit or energy or a certain state of being, if you will, then you would be like invoking that. Evocation, just to keep things simplified, all right? Simplification. Evocation is like, let's say I want to make this bitch have a car wreck. So I evoke a demon or a spirit or whatever, you know, to go kind of make that happen. Now, in my opinion, I can see the differences. I can also see how basically, depending on which perspective you look at it from, it's kind of like potato. Okay, so why do we invoke? Why do you need to invoke? I'm going to give you some quick examples too. Popular examples, okay, of invocation. All right. And for the sake of this conversation, this brief conversation, these are some concepts, precepts, all that. Pretend it's like a hat and I'm just giving it to you. You can wear the hat whenever you want. Okay. If you find it useful at certain times, cool. If you want to leave it on, cool. But for the sake of this conversation here, put that on right there. There you go. Wait. All right. Looking sharp. Cool. All right. So how many times have you ever heard the slogan or whatever? You're in good spirits. Oh, you're in good spirits. Oh, they seem to be in good spirits. Or another word might be like, where's your holiday spirit? Oh, come on, where's your holiday spirit? I guess if you really wanted to, you can take that word spirit and use as a synonym what emotion or state of being, right? So let me give you another example, okay, as far as popular, and just things to think about too, as far as popular, you know, demonstrations of invocation, okay? Everybody knows Beyonce, okay? It has been said that in her personal, regular life, she's almost shy. She's very reserved and, you know, polite and, you know, got the southern whatever. She's just very, you know, chill. Of course, when she gets on stage, she throwing that pussy like it, you know, went out of style 10 years ago, you know. She is said to, her alter ego, or another way of saying it, her altered ego, is named Sasha Fierce. Now, that is a prime example of invoking, okay? She's invoking this Sasha Fierce for when she goes on stage to perform, okay? There's a show called Breaking Bad. It was a favorite of ours. We used to watch it for, you know, for family night and all that. The main character, if you aren't familiar with it, was a high school chemistry teacher who found out he got cancer. He gets the bright idea, I'm going to start selling meth, make enough money to leave for my family. So when I die, which will be soon, they will be taken care of. Well, in the process of all that, he figures out, hey, I need a gangster persona. I need a gangster spirit, because he was a plain, square, L7 white Anglo-Saxon Protestant type of person, okay, who would not survive in the street. So his gangster alter ego was named Heisenberg, and he had this little brimmed hat. And whenever he put that hat on, look the fuck out, because once he put that hat on, he was gangster as fuck. And it is through this invocation that he was able to do certain things that he wasn't able to do as regular Walt. I think that's his name, Walt. And he wasn't able to do that, you know, within the confines and belief structures of Walt. But when he became Heisenberg, look the fuck out. Okay, so those are some popular, as far as just examples. All right, now, I've also been asked about invocation, you know, versus possession. That's a good question. If you just look at the word itself, invocation is like you're invoking something, you're calling something forth, whether it's from within, and you know, or seemingly from without to enter you or whatever, enter your state of being. Versus possession. Okay, possession is when something else takes over you. Okay, so let me use this as an example, and I'm gonna also take it back into, like, for example, you're in good spirits. Oh, you seem to be in good spirits, right? So let's just pretend we're talking about the emotion of anger, but maybe we're back a couple hundred years ago, so we describe it as a spirit. We objectify it. We give it a personality. We give it traits. Anger, right? Now, you might get angry, and that spirit of anger affects you differently. It would have a whole different experience versus, you know, maybe when you get angry, you shut down. You might even, you know, cry because you're so upset. You just shut down, or you, whatever. You do give the cold shoulder. You do whatever, right? Versus, let's say me, if I get angry, I might just blow the whole fucking joint up. Just everybody can get it type, whatever, right? Same emotion, but two different experiences of that same emotion. That's also how there's so many different experiences with maybe one particular spirit, because when you interact with that particular spirit, it's going to be different than when I do or when anybody else does, which is why it's so important to gather your own experience from all these things by doing, by practicing, by applying, okay? So you take that anger, right? So here's an example. Let's say you're going to do something, but you're afraid and you don't want to do it. And so you evoke the feeling of anger. So you're just like, fuck it, I'm gonna do it. And you just went and do it, okay? That's invoking. That's another example of invoking. You used that emotion or that whatever to either get you to take a particular action or to do something or whatever, right? Versus possession can be looked at. I mean, there's a whole fucking TV show. It's called Snapped, okay? About people who were in relationships. Maybe one finds out the other's cheating. They lose it right then and there. And it's over with. You know, somebody ends up dead, somebody, whatever, gets hurt, whatever. It's over with, you know. We all know people, maybe you have had the same problem, or maybe you know that about yourself too. Some people who they reach a certain level of anger and it's done. There's no controlling them. It's like chaos, you know. And I believe actually too, everybody has a snapping point where they will crack, they will flip, you know. No matter how calm, how whatever, everybody has a point. Okay, so that would be another example of also, like, you know, possession versus invocation, because I know people have gotten scared about that. Let's get to the damn how-tos, okay? I want to give you some simple concepts, ideas in which to view. I'm going to give you a syntax. If you look at a syntax, it's like a recipe. It's not just enough to know what to do. You also got to know what order to do them in, okay? So I'm going to give you one that has been very useful to me as well as others. And if you can use it, great, okay? First thing, I want you to put on the glasses. As you watch this video, look and hear and feel these concepts. I want you to look through the glasses of Halloween, okay? Halloween is another wonderful example of an invocation, you know. The one day out the year where you get to be whatever you want, you know. And even when a lot of y'all get older, you know what I'm saying? Us, man, we love Halloween, you know what I'm saying? Because that's when the slutty cops come out, the slutty construction workers, the slutty, you know, prison guards, you know, the naughty nurses. Oh, yeah. So you got that, okay? So the other thing I like that example for is because when you talk about Halloween, you can't help but think of it from a mind of a child, you know? And even in the Bible, it says, approach the kingdom with like the mind of a child. Not meaning immature, not meaning none of that. It just, a child is unbounded. Their imagination is unbound. And there's one word, when you think of invocation, I want you to immediately think of this other word. And that word is pretend. When you pretend, you can just pretend right now. If I was to tell you to do something, you might be kind of caught up. Am I doing this right? Am I whatever? And I say, fuck that. Just pretend right now that you are. Okay. Automatically, you just do. You know how to pretend. Okay. Maybe it's been, you know, shut down, or you might have a lot more logical left brain things that try and cock block your imagination, but it's there and it's automatic. Okay. So think of Halloween and this and that. Halloween, you're putting a costume on. You are now that fucking superhero. You're now that naughty nurse, okay? You're now all that, whatever it is. You know, you're putting that on. You're invoking that energy by way of its outfit, or the way it looks, or its costume, you know? Once we get down to that, see, I had some bullet points here. So, first things first, when you're going to invoke, you need to know your reason why. The main reason you, me, or anybody invokes something is we are all under the illusion that we lack fill in the blank. Okay? The main reason why we invoke is because we are under the illusion that we lack fill in the blank. Okay? So, for example, if you wanted to be more confident, experience yourself being more confident in a particular situation, and maybe 20 other times before you've done some dumbass shit because you were too much in your head or whatever, so you convince yourself you're not confident, then you may want to invoke a spirit, or like I've said, it's not just a spirit, because you can also use a TV character. There's a particular TV character that you're really attracted to, just you really connect with that character. You're like, man, I wish I could be like that, you know? Then that's a character. You can also use a TV character, a cartoon character, a comic book character, whatever, okay? Because that character, it doesn't matter if it's an actual, you know, spirit or a demon or a TV character, it symbolizes these attributes that you want. It symbolizes these abilities that you want. Okay, so number one, we're going to figure out why. Why? Okay, and within that, we also have, well, what is my outcome? And usually there's two different types of outcome. There's an outcome for either maybe a specific event to happen involving you, or you want an ongoing kind of state of being, maybe in a particular type of situation, you know, for the future. Those are usually the two most common. Okay? So once we figure out our why, we may decide we want to work with a particular spirit or deity, or we may call in a TV character, movie character, or whatever. Within the confines of your imagination, anything's permissible, so that's cool, you know. As long as the job gets done and you get the result, that's the only thing that matters, right? So you would figure all of that out for yourself. Nobody can answer that for you. Figure out what is exactly you want to invoke. You know, and that's also why I find it sometimes more useful to, let's say, I'm gonna use this as an example, okay? And this is one of our oils, Gold Crown Luxury Success Oil, kick ass. If you're about your wealth and abundance, you might want to cop some of this too. But let's just say, okay, luxury, success, those are concepts, okay? But maybe let's say I have a person in a movie, or I'm thinking Nino Brown from New Jack City, or I'm thinking Frank Lucas, an American gangster with all that money, living lavish, right? So maybe I want to evoke that, because for me, for whatever reason, that character symbolizes that for me. Okay? So I was thinking of making a wealth ritual involving Mammon. Some of you know Mammon. Mammon is the demon of wealth. Mammon is wealth personified. And so I would figure out what I want to use. I'm kind of getting off track here, forgive me. But let's just say, so I'm figuring that out. So now I'm going to figure out, okay, what exactly do I want? How do I want it? What does that look like, feel like, smell like, taste like, right? How will I know I got what I want? What's going to signify that? Is there something in my reality? Is it just a feeling? If it's just a feeling, you can get a feeling right now. You don't need nothing outside of you to get a feeling. You can get that right now. But these questions need to be answered by the person doing the evocation, or the invocation, excuse me. So for example, I would do that, figure out what I want. Okay, I'm going to start this business. I want to get up to, you know, what's something that's quantifiable, right? Let's say I want to get up to $5,000 a month. Okay, $5,000 a month. I'm making $5,000 a month. I feel like this. How do I feel though as that version of myself? How do you feel as that version of yourself? And mind you, this is just an example. This can be applied for, you know, the twin flame oil. If you have a court case oil, we got a court case oil coming out. You know, whatever the fucking situation is, you want to jump in there as the version of you who already has it. Okay. Now, as you're doing this, you might be calling upon a certain spirit or deity, okay? Using your imagination. How do you do that? Pretend, okay? Pretend. You pretend, and you will probably start to feel some actual real physical things by doing this, but you start to pretend and like this entity just comes, you know, pause, just all through you, and, you know, down your arms into your bottle as you're holding it, and you're just relaxing and you're meditating. And what you're also doing is you're mentally marking this bottle. So that way, consciously, I might not be thinking of it, but when I put this shit on, I'm going to start to feel more wealthy, more abundant. What does that mean? Okay, if I was wealthy, if I was abundant, if I was luxurious, I wouldn't be tripping on no small ass shit. I would be feeling expansive. I'd be feeling free. I would be feeling like, damn, I can go do whatever I want. You know, that's a whole different feeling. That's a whole different vibe. That's a whole different vibratory frequency than being in scarcity, being scared, you know, having, you know, $100, but afraid to spend 1 penny because you think you're going to lose it. That's like another form of torture, you know. So when you start putting that on though, and a lot of times, you know, it happens over time, repetition. You know what I'm saying? Repetition. So you want to be sure to be consistent also. And what you're going to end up finding is sooner or later, okay, you might not go from feeling poor and all that shit to all of a sudden, oh, I feel like I'm Bill Gates. No, a lot of times it's a more gradual process, and there are markers along the way, because next thing you know, it's like, hey, well, you know, why not get that ice cream? You know, it's okay. It's not going to kill me, blah, blah, blah. And then next thing you know, you start moving on, and now you're like actually feeling rich, even though maybe you might not be technically what is considered rich, even though a lot of times that's subjective, because a lot of us, you know, you might have enough, the money you got right now, you'd be like a super 100,000-aire in some other country, where they're poor as fuck. You know, you might have $100,000 in your pocket and think you're rich, but to like Bill Gates or, you know, Warren Buffett, you poor. You know what I mean? So, but you'd feel rich, okay? Once you start getting in that vibratory of feeling rich, and like I said, when you're invoking something for a reason. If there's a spirit, a deity, a god, a goddess, whatever it is that you are interested in, there's a reason for it. Tap into that reason. Connect with that reason. That's very important, because otherwise you're just swinging in the dark. You know, it's like someone put the blindfold around you, spun you around, and now, you know, you go play pin the tail on the ass, you know. So you want to definitely know why you're doing that, okay? At the same time, you also want to keep your mind open, because believe me, when you start, especially when you're dealing with like, and even when you're dealing with movie characters and cartoons, you will find, because these are now all thought forms that exist within the collective conscious. Your mind is connected to the collective conscious, you know, and you can look at it that way. You can also look at it as if you were invoking something that is not within you. Sometimes it's useful to do that. It gets you outside of yourself, out of your own constrictions, your own limitations, your own bullshit that has been set up. It gets you out of that. Your conscious mind's like, oh, I don't know how we're going to do this. I don't know what. And it's just like, oh, Jesus, won't he do it? And then some shit happens. Or, Allah, won't he do it? And then some shit happens, right? Or, oh, Shun, won't she do it? And then shit happens, right? Fill in the fucking blank. You dig? So that is like a breakdown on how you would use it as far as for invocation. And there's a lot of different ways you can do invocation. You can cater to yourself. Maybe you want to use a candle, so you want to anoint the candle with this also. If we're talking about wealth anyway, like we're just following the groove of the example, okay? So let's say maybe I take my money and I make hunting money, okay? Hunting money is like a hoodoo tradition. Basically, it is a hoodoo tradition, but you take your money, you write the success sigil on all four corners of your money, you cross out the national treasurer, and you write your name above it. And then when you go and buy something, you're sending, the idea behind it is you're sending this money out to go bring back more. It's hunting money for you. You're using money to hunt money for you, okay? So in addition, that's another way you can invoke that feeling, knowing what you're doing. Now, another tip I want to say is, if no matter what it is you're invoking and for why, be sure you back it up with some form of action on your part, okay? Because a byproduct now of this spirit, of this demon, of this whatever, is it's going to alter and change your behavior. If you did, in fact, invoke a demon, an angel, a spirit, or whatever, then doesn't it make sense that your behavior will begin to change? It will begin to shift. Obviously, you're going to think, like in the case of this, right? As you start using something like this, you're going to start thinking more like a wealthy person. You're going to start feeling more like a wealthy person, or someone, or you might just feel like you're luxurious, right? But you're thinking from there versus from scarcity bullshit. So, you know, these type of frequency thoughts and this type of state has a different idea, because now you start downloading and channeling certain ideas that you wouldn't have been when you were that person, the broke, scaredy one, okay? So these are also some other ways that invocation does work for you. Of course, like I said, make sure you got your feet one in front of the other to help out your spiritual or magical work. Make sure you're actually doing something, okay? It just does not make sense. Let's just use this as an example, right? I go and buy this oil thinking I'm just going to put this oil on and I'm going to just, you know, all of a sudden be wealthy, or I'm going to go buy some lottery tickets because I'm going to win because I just put this oil on. Usually it doesn't work that way, okay? And it just doesn't. All right, so let me see, what else do we have here? So that's pretty much about it. If you have any questions, you know, if I get an accumulation of a few really good questions, I'm going to do a follow-up for this video. I love the dialogue. That'll always work. So I will be doing a follow-up with that. Remember, July 29th, 2019, Philomena Lumana, La Dominador Invocation oil drops. It does come with a ritual that you can do with your oil. This is for invoking. And of course, yes, you can use the oil for specific things as you see fit. I would suggest to connect with this energy, with this goddess, and then go doing or commissioning for different things. Okay, but like I said, that is pretty much in a nutshell invocation. That is a very simplified way to look at it and a simplified way to apply or to actually do it. So that way you can experience what that is like. If that's made sense and you like it, like, share, subscribe, and thrive. Like, share, subscribe, and thrive. And if I fucking forgot to mention, like, share, subscribe, and thrive. All right, this is ShanGO Ray. So when you're ready, come see us, you know. Remember to stop by the site also, because we're always dropping new shit, either weekly or bi-weekly, all right? So peace and many, many blessings to everybody out there.